What's up? It's Steve from Asian Boss. So, Jesse, you're like the whitest friend I have. So, you ready?
I'm ready, let's do it.
Cool, let's go.
Okay.
This channel was previously called Asian Twist, and the reason why it was called Asian Twist was because Asian Boss, which is now a huge YouTube channel, was inciting hate speech, racism, and hatred against white men. Now, YouTube has a new hate speech policy, and it is an exciting time for me because I can eventually start to speak freely about the hatred and racism which has been happening in Western countries. These are the attributes you are not allowed to target someone on. You're not allowed to incite hatred against individuals based on any of these attributes, and you are definitely not allowed to say that someone based on these attributes is a disease, has a disease, or their behavior makes them out to have some sort of a disease. Today I'm going to be talking about Asian Boss. I'm going to make quite a few videos on these pricks. But before we get started, if you want to keep up to date with Australia's first and only geopolitically focused YouTube channel, make sure you click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so you don't miss out on anything. So this is YouTube's official blog, and my opinion is that YouTube punishes white men. And in fact, they promote hatred against white men. And I'm going to prove that to you guys today. This is their official blog. This is only brand new. It's only happened last week. Over the past few years, we've been investing in policies, resources, and products needed to live up to our responsibility and protect the YouTube community from harmful content. Oh, wow. How noble are you guys? Violative content, authoritative content, borderline content, and rewarding trusted creators. Now you see, my channel has been destroyed. My channel does not my channel does not exist in YouTube. Only you guys watching my videos right now have subscribed to me. I might as well have a website, because if you search for me, you can barely find me. So therefore, I have been hidden within YouTube. Whereas rewarding trusted creators, you have Asian Boss, which is a racist hate speech channel which has directed hatred against white men many times. They're being rewarded by YouTube, and I'm going to prove that to you guys today.
Hey guys, it's Steve and Kay from Asian Boss.
Now, the name of this YouTube channel is Asian Boss. It's run by Southeast Asians at this time, white-skinned Asians. They didn't include the subcontinent Asians until later on, when they wanted to grow their market and get more money. So in the beginning, they were only a Korean, a Japanese, and a Chinese, all with white skin, none with dark skin. I want to make that very clear because I saw that as inherently racist from the very beginning. But let's compare Asian Boss to white supremacy. Now, white is a race and supremacy is a level in the hierarchy. Now, everybody fears white supremacy because, well, World War II happened. We had these Nazis going around killing everybody that wasn't part of their in-group of race. It's very dangerous ideology, hate speech. But since, more recently, the mainstream media cracks down on white supremacy content, of course, and it should crack down on that. That's what I'm saying here. But I think that they have misinterpreted as just all white people being bad instead of the ideology of hate speech or racism. They don't fully understand the definition. So let's break down Asian Boss. Asian is a race, and Boss is a level in the hierarchy. Now let's compare Asian Boss to white supremacy. White is a race, and superiority is a level in the hierarchy. So what's the difference between Asian Boss and white supremacy? Now, when you put Asian and Boss together, they are saying that Asians should be the boss. But there's another level to this. It's not just white supremacy saying that this specific race is superior to all other races. Asian Boss is not only a level in the hierarchy, but it is the boss. The boss controls its employees. So what they are inherently saying is not only Asians are superior to all other races, they're also saying that Asians should rule the entire world and every other race in it. And for you people out there that call yourself Asians from the subcontinent, I want you guys to be very clear on the fact that they didn't add an Indian from the subcontinent until the later stages after this channel had been growing, and they only did it, in my opinion, to make more money.
Most Asian people living in Asia are not aware of this Western cultural phenomenon called yellow fever.
Yellow fever, according to the Urban Dictionary, means
A term usually applied to white male who have a clear sexual preference for Asian.
You notice these racists use the Urban Dictionary instead of a real dictionary, because a real dictionary wouldn't have such a racist, hateful term in it. The Urban Dictionary is full of the most disgusting terms on earth that are not allowed in the real dictionary, and that's why these racists use it.
At its extreme, yellow fever can even be characterized as some sort of a fetish for Asian women based on their race and their stereotypes that they are easy and submissive.
Now you notice they didn't just use a dictionary, wasn't good enough for them. They used the Urban Dictionary, which is full of hate speech, but then they moved even further and said at its extreme it is a kind of fetish. Now where did that come from? Unless they're trying to just purely demonize white men dating Asian girls as if we are the most despicable, disgusting people on planet Earth. These people are racists.
So let's ask Asian girls how they feel about all of this. Have you ever heard of the term yellow fever?
You will also notice that white men will not be interviewed. They will not be allowed to be a part of the conversation. This is how apartheid states and genocides start. They do not give the people who they want to exterminate a voice. And that's why I'm talking up today, because I am going to speak up for white men all over the world today and give them the voice that they deserve. The reason why they don't give them a voice is because you cannot demonize and make someone look as if they are this despicable, disgraceful animal if they have a voice. Because when you hear them talk, you realize that they're human after all. An Asian boss does not want white men to be seen as human.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, it's like when white guys are really obsessed with Asian girls, kind of.
Does it have like a positive or negative connotation to it?
I think it's kind of neutral actually. It's kind of like you hear it and you kind of think it's a bit weird at first, but because it's so common, like you get used to it. But I think it's like it doesn't affect me, but I know a lot of people kind of find it a bit weird.
It's important to note that they choose different locations to do interviews depending on the demographics of each location, and so they specifically chose this location, Chatswood, Sydney, Australia, because Chatswood, Sydney, Australia hates white men. It is one of the most racist, hate-filled, anti-Australia suburbs in Australia. It is also one of the highest population of mainland Chinese as well. They have Huawei there. This suburb hates white men, and I believe this is why Asian Boss chose Chatswood for these interviews.
Do you think that's a positive thing or a negative thing?
Negative thing? I think it's kind of racist. It's not basing on their personality, but just because they're Asian, then they like you.
Well, I'm pretty sure some people think it's positive, but personally, I think it's negative. Just to stereotype one race and that's your type. I mean, it's okay to have a type, but it's not exactly right for me to just like you for the way that you look, as in like you're young.
The term yellow fever has a connotation of some form of disease. This insinuates white men are dirty, we have an infection, white men are foul, impure.
Do you think that they necessarily think of Asian girls as easier?
When I was living in Asia, I think that was definitely the perception. I lived in Taiwan for a period of my life. I encountered a lot of foreigners, and I found that a lot of the Caucasian or Anglo-Saxon guys, they felt like they could, get any girl, and they sort of came across as, a bit like, they were better than some of the, I guess, local guys.
This girl has just hit a nerve with Asian Boss. You see, this is what they hate. They hate the fact that white men are successful with Asian women, yet Asian men are not successful with white women. They see Asian Boss, I met them on George Street a very long time ago. They didn't even have 5,000 subscribers. I think they've got over 1 point something million subscribers now. And they didn't even have 5,000 subscribers when I met them, and I asked them, what are you guys up to? And Steve gave me this attitude. He just was like, hey, look, we're busy here, we're working. And I looked at what they were doing and I thought, this is work? Okay, fair enough. And I went home and searched Asian Boss on YouTube, and these guys were making pickup videos, but they're making pickup videos specifically designed to target Asian men who only have a preference for white women. Now you get the hypocrisy here. Now you see, they were doing videos where they were secretly filming Australian women around Sydney and going up and going, hey, give me your number, put your number in my phone. And then they progressed to just interviewing white women and going, oh, do you like Asian men? Would you date an Asian man? And this community is called AMWF, Asian Man White Women, and all of the Asian men in this community only have a preference for white women. So you can see the hypocrisy here. So what they did was they started out their channel early, specifically targeting white women. They realized that they would never become successful with white women, and that they were in fact a fraud from the very beginning. And their channel grew anyway, so then they expanded their horizons. But then after realizing that they were not successful, they became angry, they became bitter, and then they decided to make videos hating on white men and trying to create this type of hate speech propaganda to try and convince Asian women to not date white men. I hate hypocrites.
I've had this one guy who, he was famous within our uni for having the yellow fever.
Right.
So I didn't know this at the time when I met him. So after I met him, I sort of got this vibe, and I knew he was sort of just going out with just Asian girls,
right,
which got me a little bit worried, and I really don't like that. That really puts me off.
Well, if this guy was dating a lot of Asian girls, the reason probably is because most girls in Sydney are Asian, especially the suburb that they're filming in. If the majority of girls around you are a specific race, there's a good chance that you'll end up dating them. So she's kind of silly by saying that. And secondly, Asian Boss, oh, the hypocrisy of these guys. Their entire channel was built off interviewing and filming white women in Sydney, Australia. They would approach white women and make these pickup videos. They would talk to Asian men and try to teach them how to pick up a white woman. They would hire white actresses to pretend to be their girlfriends. They would pay Asian guys $5 in little videos to go and hug a white woman. You see, their entire channel was the obsession of an Asian man chasing white women, the fetishization of white women. Oh, the hypocrisy, Asian Boss.
In a way, maybe it's okay for us as women because we don't get discriminated as much as I assume Asian men would with the negative stereotypes. I think that would be burdensome if I was an Asian guy.
It is a proven fact that it is more difficult for an Asian man to date in a Western country. That's a fact. But an Asian man does have a choice. You can be a beta Asian, like these Asian Boss guys, and just get angry and think, okay, instead of blaming the white women who are rejecting me, what I'm going to do is I am going to target all of the white men and try to make them look bad and try to eliminate the competition. What's the next phase from that? Well, it's genocide. Eradicate all of the white men so that these Asian guys have the pick of the women that are left. And you see, this is part of the strategy. They're trying to manipulate people into, in my opinion, a form of genocide against people. I honestly believe that when you create this much race hate, there's only a few levels behind what the Nazis did. But you see, if you're an Asian man who's struggling out in Western society, you don't have to become this bitter Asian man. You can improve yourself. You can go and, you can go and hit the gym. You can work on your charisma. You can work on your fashion. There's a lot that you can work on to improve yourself. You do not have to be a bitter Asian man like these Asian boss beaters.
We should point out that we've got a lot of white friends who like Asian girls for the right reasons, not just based on the stereotypes or race factor alone.
If you have some black friends, does that mean you can say the N-word? It's amazing in 2019 we still accept this level of race hatred, and especially from people who have either immigrated to Australia, to Western countries, or their parents immigrated from third world countries for a better life, and then they they bring up children like this that grow up to create such hate speech. I would dearly like to see this entire channel removed because of this hate speech, because I honestly believe that this is dangerous. It's 2019 and racists like this have no place on YouTube. This is worse than any white supremacist or Nazi, modern day Nazi fascist videos I've ever seen. This is as close to the lead up to the Nazi genocide of the early 1900s. I honestly believe these guys are extremely dangerous. They're so dangerous that I dedicated years of my life studying them and their audience, enough for me to create a channel called Asian Twist and follow them. And everything that I learnt from those times will be going into my book.
But this is a cultural phenomenon, so you should be at least aware of it.
Thank you for watching to the end of this video, and I would like to ask you guys for a huge favor. You see, society and YouTube is not doing anything about hate speech. In fact, they are promoting hate speech. We have to fight back ourselves. So what I've done is I've created my own term for yellow fever, and I have put it into the Urban Dictionary. Now you see, this is where you guys come in. I need my definition to get as many thumbs up as possible to push it to the top of the list so that it is the most popular definition for yellow fever. That would require 4,000 thumbs up. So it's a big ask, but everybody who has watched to this point, if you could go and give it a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. Because this is the only way, or one of the many ways, that we can fight back against hate speech. So I'll leave a link in the description to make it easier for you to find the definition, and then go through until you find mine and give it a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate that. I'll see you guys in the next video.